Hello, I'm the first chapter, and today I have a new segment on my channel called Whirlpool. It's an acronym for watching, reading, playing, listening. Whirlpool, I guess. Trust me, it's gonna catch on. I'm going to be talking about what I watched, read, played, and listened to last month, or more specifically, my favorites that I watched, read, and played, and listened last month, and I'm going to be sharing and recommending it to you. Now, I realize this is a lot like a favorites video, and it's also a lot like a wrap-up video, but I don't really like doing wrap-ups or TBRs, and I also don't really like favorite videos, so I'm stuck with making up my own thing that's kind of a mix of all of that put together in my own type style thing. So there's 4 categories: watching, reading, playing, and listening. So I'll go through them in that order. There's 2 movies that I watched in September that really stuck out to me just in the way that they were done, and it just really motivated me to like do my own sort of filmy stuff. If you don't know, I am planning on making a short film sometime soon. I don't know when it'll actually happen, but I'm writing it right now. Watching these 2 videos really motivated me to get back into the whole writing aspect of my screenplay. The first one I watched, which is surprising that I actually never watched this movie before because it's apparently a classic. Like, it's a thing that everyone should watch apparently, but I haven't watched it. And that movie is Good Will Hunting, starring Matt Damon and Robin Williams. If you haven't watched Good Will Hunting, I would seriously recommend it. Stop what you're doing and just watch the film. Without giving anything away, Good Will Hunting is about this boy named Will, and he is a prodigy, but he doesn't have a great job. He is going through a lot mentally, and he just needs help, which is where Robin Williams' character jumps in, and he is a therapist. And I'm not doing it proper justice. It is beautiful, and I would seriously recommend, if you could find it in your library to rent, or if you could buy it somewhere, do it, because it is amazing. Robin Williams actually won an Oscar for Best Supporting Character in Good Will Hunting, and it is extremely well deserved. And Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, they actually wrote the screenplay for Good Will Hunting, which is amazing considering how young they were at the time. The second movie that I watched and I'm going to be recommending to you is Shaun of the Dead by Edgar Wright. Now, Edgar Wright is slowly becoming my favorite director of all time. If the name Edgar Wright seems a little bit familiar to you, it is because his new movie, Baby Driver, just came out this year, and if you haven't seen that, I would also recommend that to you because it's just brilliant. But Shaun of the Dead is also very, very good. It's a zombie movie, but it's a zombie movie that makes fun of zombie movies, so in a way it's a satire of zombie movies, which I just love. It's extremely funny, and it just plays with the whole zombie genre, so if you're into that sort of thing, I would definitely recommend it to you. I had a kind of meh reading month in the month of September. I read like 5 books, except like 3 of them are graphic novels, 1 of them was a short story, and the other one was an actual book. The book that I read was Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. It was good. It wasn't the best contemporary novel that I've read ever, which I know might get some of you upset. It just wasn't overall my cup of tea. I rated it 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, which if you don't know, that just means it was okay. I liked it. I'm just probably not gonna read it again ever. In the end, it just seemed like a chore for me to read it, and I just never really ended up getting fully into it, which kind of was upsetting. Next book that I read in the month of September was Gauntlet, the Batman Chronicles. It's about Robin becoming Robin. It's his final test, and the final test is basically keeping away from Batman during a whole night, and if Batman doesn't catch him during that time frame, he will become Robin. But something happens during the nighttime which makes it extremely hard for Robin to keep away from Batman because he's dealing with these other things. It was a good read overall, extremely short, but there's definitely more in this series, so I might be picking up more. I rated this 3 out of 5 stars as well. The next graphic novel that I read was Saga Volume 1, and I ended up reading Saga Volume 2 after I finished the first one. I read the first one because I was participating in the Low Key 3 book club, which is put on by Guntaria, I hope that's how you say your name, and then Clara and Taylor. All of their channels will be linked down below. You guys should check them out. They're all all funny and they're all great. So their book club, Low-Key 3, was doing Sega, and I was like really pumped to read Sega because it's just a thing on BookTube that everyone has read. So I'm like, I kind of want to read it. I've heard a lot of people talk about this. A lot of people have hyped it up. It's sci-fi. It's like in space, and there's aliens, there's war, there's love. I'm here for all of that. And honestly, the first 2 volumes have really lived up to all that I've heard, and I cannot wait to continue on with the 3rd, and it's just gonna be a joy. I've only actually played one video game last month, which was Uncharted, the first one, Drake's Fortune, and I am going to say this up front. I am not a great person at playing first-person shooters. I'm horrible at it, actually. You know what? I know I'm worse than horrible. I'm rubbish. I'm saying British slang right now because I'm reading Harry Potter and it's just started to rub off on me. Uncharted is created by Naughty Dog, and I just have a lot of respect for that company because they created Crash Bandicoot, which is a game that I used to play a lot as a child, and now I'm playing maybe some of their more mature games. It's just come full circle. If you don't know what Uncharted is about, think Indiana Jones, but set in the present with more guns and explosions, but the story is just as good. Would recommend to any of those people out there that like playing video games. Now this could pretty much be anything. It could be audiobooks, it could be podcasts, it could be music, it could be anything like that, and I think I'm going to be going with a little bit of music and a little bit of podcasts. I've been listening to the Catch Me If You Can soundtrack, which, if you haven't seen Catch Me If You Can, it's a great Broadway performance, and there's also a movie format. It's all based on a real story. You guys should definitely look into it if you're interested. Maybe I'll leave some links down below. I was recently casted as a part of the ensemble in my local production of Catch Me If You Can, and I'm really just stoked to be in a performance right now. I love the podcast Plumbing the Death Star. I know, weird name, but it's such a good podcast. Basically, it's these Australian comedians, and they talk about pretty much anything that is pop culture and bring it to weird subjects. So the one that I've actually just recently been listening to is it legal to shrink your children? What is the legality of shrinking your child, and what would happen if you did shrink your child? And obviously that's from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. They shrink the kids, but nothing legal ever happens. So what would happen if you shrunk a person? It's hilarious, and I would definitely recommend it to you. It just warms my heart every single time I listen to that podcast. Again, links will be in the description to all of the things that I talked about today if you are interested in looking at any of them or just wanting to know more about them. So that has been what did I call this? Who knows? It's an acronym for watching, reading, playing, listening. Whirlpool. But thank you all so much for watching. If you liked this sort of new type of video from me, be sure to hit that like button. If this is your first video of watching me, congratulations, you've watched the whole way through, and if you liked this video for whatever reason, that means you're probably gonna like my future videos, so maybe hit that like button and subscribe. I will see you guys soon in another one of my videos. I post them every Tuesday and Friday. Goodbye!